Hey guys, it's Kevin from Mix Coach. I have a thought for a video today. I was just listening to some of my members on Mix Coach Member. Every month we turn in mixes. It's an optional thing, but you turn in mixes and you can get your mixes listened to and get some feedback on it. We call it mix feedback. I was listening to mix feedback this morning and I noticed myself, a seasoned pro, making decisions on how good a mix was in the first few seconds. And I just read an article online that said that people tend to they make judgment calls on whether or not they like you, whether you're successful, everything. They can make judgment calls within 8/10 of a second, I think. And I found myself kind of doing the same thing, making judgment calls on how good a mix was in the first few seconds of a mix. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because people, when they listen to your mix, especially in the context of something like Spotify, iTunes, on a record, on a playlist where people are listening to your mixes, people make judgment calls on your mixes in the first few seconds. So what can you do about that? Well, first of all, is you can make sure that your intro is interesting. If you're in a contest like on Indaba, or if you're doing a contest where your mix is going to be judged, the first thing you can do. Here's three things you can do. Okay. First thing is don't give them any more delay than they need. Now you don't want to chop off the beginning of a song, but you definitely don't want to leave 2 seconds of gap, because people will judge whether a song is good or not by how much distance there is between the time they hit play to the time they hear the song. So many times I've listened to songs on my website when I'm giving feedback for people, and I've noticed that people will leave either the stick count on the song, which is bad, because that tells me that the song's not done yet, that it's a rough mix instantly, or maybe there's too much space or there's noise before the song. That tells me that a song is not done. And a lot of times, if people can make a judgment call in 8/10 of a second or 8 seconds even, you've wasted part of that time to make a good impression on them. Okay. The second thing you can do is to make sure that your intro is interesting. A lot of times what I'll do if I'm trying to make an impression on a producer or an artist or something like that, sometimes what I'll do is I'll maybe do a swell into there. Maybe I'll chop part of an outro or part of an intro, or a figure that's in the music, something that's identifiable. Sometimes I'll copy and paste that to the intro. Now, you have to use this with caution, because you don't want to go messing with people's songs. If they have calculated the intro and how it needs to be, and then you go and mess it up or mess with it some, then that's not good. But if you're trying to stand out in a crowd like Indaba, why not change the intro a little bit? Another thing that I used to do, here's thing number 3. Now, this is something I used to do when I worked in Nashville at a recording studio called Hilltop. And I've seen John Nicholson and some of the guys do this, and it made a lot of sense to me. A lot of times when you're doing an intro to a song, there's no music in there. Maybe the intro is a little subdued. Maybe there's not as much instrumentation. There's usually not a vocal singing in there. So the intro will tend to be at a lower volume than the rest of the song. Well, if you just came out of a huge song on a record and then you're going into a soft song, be careful there, because the intro, as I said, can make a first impression and give people a chance to make a snap judgment on your mix. So why not ride the master volume up on your intro to make it seem a little bit louder, and then ride it down as the vocal comes in? You have to use your call, but that's 3 good ways to make your mixes really pop when they come out, and deter people from making a snap judgment on your mix. So anyway, if you'd like to learn more about Mix Coach Member, and you'd like to get some mix feedback, you can check out mixcoachmember.com. And thanks for watching, and I hope this helps. Talk to you soon.